In this video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing Launch's CRP123 model. This is the E model, the middle one in the range. You're going to see exactly how it works, what it can do, what it can't do, what it claims to do, and what it actually does. So let's get going. So this is the kind of scanner you'd buy if you have $200-300, something like that, and you want to be able to read things like ABS codes, something a little bit more than a standard dongle, for example. So when we actually play around with this, we're going to be looking at those features and actually see what you are paying for in comparison to something which can be done quite cheaply with a phone app and a small little Chinese dongle, for example. So here we are, arrived in the mail today. This is a little unboxing, so you can see what's inside, how it looks out the box. So we have the reader itself here. Kind of looks like that. Little plug for the EOBD2 port there. Little charger. I think it's a 5-volt charger, so you can use USB. Got a little packet, so you're getting your standard bag of jerky there. And what looks like a carry case. So yeah, a little bag there. And we've got a manual, owner's manual, and a quick start guide in many languages. So let's give it a test and see how it performs. So before we get in the car and test this exact product, I'll talk about the similar products under $300 so you're educated on what they all do. So this is the 123 range here. They all support allegedly SRS, ABS and AT. All of these features I won't go through because I don't want the video to be too long. These are the prices, and this is why I settled on this one. You can see they support OBD1, which is pre-1996. None of the others do that, even though this one's more expensive. They support European cars and also Japanese cars, whereas, these don't. The X offers a couple more features, but nothing really to write home about, for example. That's what they do. If you want to spend a little more, you can look at the 129 range, which also has the E and the X, and you can see the price differences and stuff. So it carries over the features from this one we're going to test now, but also has a couple of extra bits as well. Is it worth the extra money from the others? I'm not so sure, so that's why I settled on this one. I thought this was a good compromise of features, supports all these protocols, and I thought it was the best value for money. So with that being said, we're going to test the 123E and see exactly how it performs and whether it lives up to its advertisements. Okay, so we have the scanner in the vehicle now. We're going to plug it in a second. When you turn it on for the first time, couple of things. First time, you'll have to set up the Wi-Fi connection. There's not a 5G support on this. It's only 2.4G. Not really a big deal, not really a deal breaker at all. When you first turn it on, in the manual it said you shouldn't have to upgrade it because they upgraded it out of the factory before shipping it to you. However, I had 34 new updates and they took around 2 hours to install. Again, not really a deal breaker. You shouldn't have to keep upgrading it, but yeah, 2 hours to install some updates. Their servers are really slow. It comes down around 200-300 kilobytes a second, so it can take some time. But once it's all set up and ready, you're good to go. So when I plug it into the vehicle, it makes a little noise here, and it'll automatically, excuse the dirty floor, it'll automatically try and identify the car using the auto detect feature. So I'll just plug that in now. So I'll try and auto detect any vehicle OBD2, so 1996 and later, it should auto detect automatically. However, it doesn't. For whatever reason that does, that is. So the auto detect feature just doesn't work. And I'll show you why in a second, because if you auto detect it manually yourself, so you'll have to input the VIN, which is no big deal. But if I just back out of there and click auto detect myself, it'll work, which is kind of bizarre. You'll see in a second. So the auto detect thing kind of works when it wants to. If you put the VIN in manually, yeah, it does work. oh, okay, it's the first time it didn't work. So yeah, the auto detect feature is a bit finicky. I don't know. I mean, this was $175. I think for that price I'd want it to auto detect, but it is what it is. So what I'm gonna do is go through a few of these features. Now we're all set up and running. So on here is an Android system, so it's like a phone. It makes similar sounds, it has the same shortcuts. For some reason there's a back button on top of a back button. Again, not a deal breaker, I thought I'd point that out. So with these launch, they have a number of models all the way up to $800, $2,000, and they have pretty much the same operating system on. So it's like a feature restriction. So if you pay say $100 and get the really basic one, the 123 for example, you'll pretty much have the same operating system as a really expensive one. However, everything you'll need to purchase which isn't included in yours will be in this mall section here. And when you buy things for yours, for example, say you want to bleed your brakes, you'll pay $50 for that feature, and after 1 year you cannot use it anymore, you have to buy it again. And again, you can get these for one model of car, and apparently you'll do everything for that one car. For example, like a Maserati or something like that, sunroof reset. So all these features you can actually add on if you don't have them in the mall option here. Again, down here, upgrade, that's how you upgrade it all. Settings, various things, unit of measurement. This automatic detection just doesn't work. I don't know why. I've tried it on 3 vehicles and it just doesn't work, so I might as well turn that off. Everything else in here pretty self-explanatory. So that's settings. Next one, I am Readiness. Now, some of these features you can get on, like a $2-3 dongle. You've seen them, the Elm dongles. They're very tiny. I'll link them in the description below if you want to check them out. You can get them from China, even the US. They're $3, something like that. So cheap. And what they do, they'll pair with your phone through Bluetooth. Now this has a really long cable, which is a bit annoying for, this was around $175. It would be nice to have Bluetooth. Again, not a deal breaker. But these $3 dongles, they have Bluetooth on. And they pair with your phone, and you can use phone apps, various ones. There's a lot out there, ScanMaster. But one of the popular ones is Torque, Torque. And with Torque, you can use basic OBD2 features. I am Readiness, so pretty much everything that's part of the standard OBD2 protocol, for example. So a lot of powertrain codes, misfires, you can get all that stuff on those $3 dongles. So what you can't get on the $3 dongles is really what you're paying for with this one right here. So what do I get for my $170 if I can get all this stuff on a $3 dongle? So that's really what I really want to discuss here. Now, I am Readiness. So say if you unplug your battery and plug it back in, it will reset a lot of your monitors. I don't really want to bloat this video out by explaining what monitors are, but if you go for, say, a smog check or something like that, they may have told you they can't smog the vehicle because it hasn't gone through the checks. And there'll be one for each system in the car, like the EVAP system, all different systems. And this will tell you if you're ready for a smog check, but the $3 dongles do that too. So that's really what this feature does here. So here's the I am Readiness here. If you're ready for a smog check, you can have a couple not ready in my specific county and in the state of Nevada, but really you should check your local area. But yeah, this is sort of what it looks like. You can't really click into them. This is pretty much it. But again, you can do this on a $3 dongle, so it just tells you if you're ready there, or your monitors are ready. Another one, battery voltage, just pretty much tells you if your alternator's working. So when I turn the car off, it's going to drop down to around 12 volts. Nothing really special there. We got reset here. I believe this can reset your engine light and things like that. Again, $3 dongle does that too. So let's look at these two things here. Let's see what we're actually paying for. So diagnose. I want the auto detect to work, which I don't think it's going to. So I'm going to have to load up an old profile or type the VIN in. Okay, it's finally worked this time. You see, Well, you saw that for yourself. You know it didn't work, then it did. So here we go. Finally worked this time. So it's nice when you can see it for yourself that these things are, you know, a bit flaky. So yes, now it's going to read all the data off and tell me what's wrong with the vehicle. There's a couple of things on here. There's an ABS light, and there's an O2 sensor issue, a post-cat one, I think. So what it does, it gives me a little report, various stuff, serial numbers, and it says, yeah, there's a couple issues with the powertrain. Again, a $3 dongle will tell you all that stuff. Now these two here, it says on this specific scanner, it'll tell me about my transmission, which it doesn't at all. The website said it does, but there's not even a section for it. It'll tell me about my SRS system, so that's this supplemental inflatable restraint thing, which is normal, so that's your airbags, seat belts and stuff, and the ABS, which is this EBCM. So it does do that. If we go down here, there's a solenoid issue. It could be a speed sensor, but that's really, you know, not the aim of this video. So it gives you this report. So I click around, I can't do anything in here, so I'm going to go back. And when I go back, I get this screen, and this gives you can actually enter into each one. So I have an issue with the ABS. So this $3 dongle doesn't do this, so I can clear it. I don't really want to clear it. I can read the fault code, and it will give me various stuff. But my main area of interest is read the data stream, and then I can go into the ABS. And what I can do, it says the left rear wheel speed sensor, so I can click that. I can click all of them. Let's select all of them. So this will show me the live data for ABS specific things. Now this is what you are paying for. You can't do this on you can do it with talk with a $3 dongle. You can do live data, graphs and all kinds of stuff, but you can't do it with ABS, because each car, make, model, all that stuff uses their own protocols and systems, and a $3 dongle doesn't know about every year, make, and model of car. So that's really what you're paying for here. So what I can do, I can graph my wheel speed sensor. Anything with a graph here will give me that live data, so I can click that. And what I can do here, I can record it, so I can drive around, you know, then save it out in a file and all stuff like that. I can view graphs, I can view the real-time data here. It generates a report, all kinds of things like that. Still not really oh, there it is. So what I can do, I can drive along, and it'll show me my speed in a graph, just like Talk does in the app, but it does it against the ABS wheel speed sensors. So this is what we are paying for with this. This is, you know, where your money's going against a $3 dongle and a Talk app. However, my main concern with this is that if you don't have an ABS problem, or a problem with your airbag, for example, then it's really hard to get to this menu without doing a whole report and all things like that. I can't just go to like a live data menu item and just, you know, read it off that way. And a lot of the time it will say it'll support this, but just give me like an NA value, because there's nothing wrong. But it seems that if there's something wrong, it gives me more information about the problem. I can start plotting graphs and all stuff like that. So let's get out of here. So that's what that does. And again, it supports a lot of brands. Makes, models, all these right here. And these are by default. I haven't paid for any of them. And they'll provide updates for each make here. So if there's a new BMW update, you can download that and whatnot. In the OBD2 menu, this is where I expect to see like a live data menu or something like that. But the problem when you go in here, it searches these protocols every time, and you just think, can it kind of remember that stuff? you know, it can pull the VIN off and make a profile, but I have to let it sit through all these, and it'll be this one here. There's the match. I can't stop it, I just have to wait. So once it's searched all the protocols, it knows which one my vehicle uses, which is this one, so it's a GM vehicle. I have to wait for all of them to finish. Okay, so once it's done that, you can go in here, and then it will read the information off the vehicle. Okay, and it will tell you information like the VIN, you know, the vehicle readiness, how many data streams it supports, the ignition type. You know, and I can click these. It makes a noise, doesn't really tell me anything. And then it gives me this, so I can read the IM readiness, I can read the live data. So this is, I expect to see this live data bit in the main menu, because I want to see graphs. I want to, you know, I'm spending all this money, I want to see instant graphs of my speed sensors. You know, like the torque app, you can make different graphs and things. So I go here. So this live data here, it doesn't show me any ABS stuff or transmission stuff, nothing like that. It's just simple, you know, like P codes and standard OBD2 stuff. Like, there's nothing in this menu that, you know, a $3 dongle doesn't offer us for free with the torque app. So then it gives you the live data here for these things, but the only way to access ABS specific stuff is to actually let it auto detect your VIN or put your VIN in, read all the codes, and then go through those menus. So it's just a bit annoying. You just think, well, this device supports ABS, it says on the back. Supports transmission, ABS, and airbags, so why aren't these in this menu? Why do I have to, you know, just dig around? It's really annoying. And then it will give you all these menus, so these are, you know, all the things it supports. However, if you go in, I don't know, say one of these here, it just gives you nonsensical stuff, like it's pulling the data off the system, but because it's supporting so many year, make and model and trims and all stuff like this, it's not really translating its results properly. So this is now conducted an evap leak test. I'm like, okay. But it says control operation of onboard component system. So how did I know it was going to do that until I clicked it? The manual certainly doesn't, you know, suggest that. It's got some freeze frame stuff, fault codes. I mean, read fault codes here, that's just the first thing we went through. Why am I seeing this in here? It just says no fault code. I'm like, yes. But there is an ABS fault code, so I don't, it's just bizarre. It seems to me, if you want to learn about your vehicle and do graphs, go in the diagnose menu. This seems like an afterthought, but what I would really like here, I don't really care about my battery voltage. I think right here should be a live data, and I can just plot whatever graphs I want. I think that would be the best use of this cell right here, and then put battery voltage inside that. It just seems really odd that they chose to do it that way. But really, is this worth it? Well, it doesn't give me any transmission information at all, which is kind of weird because I spent the extra money to be able to do that. The website said it does pull it on this vehicle. However, it doesn't. It's just not even in there as a menu. So that's number one issue. So really, what am I paying for? I'm paying for the ability to read ABS information and look at certain graphs for ABS stuff, and also the SRS stuff as well, so the safety elements in the vehicle. That is what you're paying for. Against a $3 dongle with a smartphone, obviously, and a free torque app, you can do everything else this does. So obviously, because you're using a smartphone with torque, for example, if you went the $3 dongle route, then you are paying for the screen in this case and everything else. But if you have a smartphone and a dongle, it's a better way to go. However, if you use a dongle like Blue Driver or Fixed, they say they support ABS and things like that. However, your mileage may vary, because on this vehicle, the GM one, a Saturn Vue, Certainly fixed and blue driver do not support ABS on this vehicle, so this is something this can do. But is pulling ABS codes worth $170 to you? This is what you have to think about. So I am a bit upset it's not pulling transmission codes or anything like that. It's certainly something I'm going to be contacting them about, because yeah, it's just a bit odd. Another thing, updates are always free. Sometimes when you buy certain brands of these, you have to pay for updates and things. So at least updates for certain things are free on here. It's just if you want special features, like in a Prius, when you have to electronically bleed the brakes, you would need to pay for that, for example. Another weird thing here, this is what you can update for free, so all this stuff, and you can also update the firmware on it. However, you can see here my current version is 1.28 and the newest is 1.28, so I don't need to I don't need to update that. However, if I need to update some of these, it's just easier to press select all. However, when you do that, it'll actually try and download this even though you had the later version. So you have to manually look at the version differences and select the ones you want to download, which is just bizarre. So what this is doing now, it's actually downloading the whole operating system all over again. It's going to install it all over again, and it's not even going to tell you already have this version. And you can see the download speed there, look, so we're at 100 kilobytes per second. And my internet's really fast, so it's obviously their servers that it's downloading from. They're either just slow or overloaded. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass, really. I think I've covered everything on here now. I've never tried actually escaping out of an update before. I don't know what's going to happen now. But yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I'd hate to buy their really new version for, a couple thousand, the most expensive one, and run into issues like this. I just feel some of the errors aren't quite ironed out yet, and it's just a little bit confusing, especially this OBD2 section there. But again, your mileage may vary. It really depends on the vehicle. If you're looking for a generic code reader that will work with a lot of makes of cars, maybe this is good, but I just don't see why I'm spending this much money when a really cheap Chinese dongle with a free phone app can do almost everything other than certain ABS codes for makes and models. But yeah, this is the launch anyway, so the 123E version there. So that's my experience with it, and yeah, I hoped it helped you. One thing I neglected to mention was, yeah, it does actually charge through the OBD2 port in the vehicle, which is quite handy, so you don't need to plug in the charger that came with it, to charge it up, because it does have a battery in here as well. So yeah, that's it. I hoped it helped, and thanks for watching.